Hey, what's happening, guys? So the biggest, most anticipated movie of the summer is not this weekend, so let's talk Baywatch instead. No. This Baywatch.
Oh, fuck!
This is the big screen film adaptation of the 90s television show, and it stars Dwayne Johnson, Zac Efron, Priyanka Chopra, Alexandra Daddario, Kelly Rohrbach, and John Bass. It's directed by Seth Gordon, and it follows a group of lifeguards, of course, who discover some drugs are washing up on their beach. Head lifeguard Mitch Buchanan is also clashing with a young, arrogant recruit, but somehow they will still manage to work together to try and stop a drug smuggling operation. Now, this is an interesting one. People are certainly going to bash this movie. Most critics are not going to like it, and I'd be willing to bet my paycheck on it. So before going into this review, I would really ask you, what are you expecting out of this movie? Do you want a serious plot with character development and well-structured story arcs? If so, pass on this movie. Do you want some laughs, some likable characters, and a group of performances that really show some fun chemistry that's going to give you some mindless entertainment for a couple hours? If so, give this one a chance. I mean, this is a film adaptation of a TV show that ran through the 90s that sold itself on cheese. I mean, it's crime-fighting lifeguards. It's Melrose Place on the beach. Every attractive C and D-list actor or actress with a banging body in the 90s was on this show at some time or another, and if I wasn't an adolescent pre-puber mesmerized by cleavage and high-cut swimsuits, I wouldn't even have watched it back then. Bottom line, this show was a soap opera with loads of eye candy and a cheesy but entertaining premise, and that was pretty much what this movie delivered, only better because it went with the crude humor and it cut out the romance and the melodramatics. It was also extremely aware of what it was, what the nostalgia of the show was back then, and it really embraced it with an entertaining result, in my opinion. This movie also delivers one of the most amazingly over-the-top and cheesy title intros I have ever seen, and from that moment on, you should know exactly what you're going to get, a film that takes a serious effort at not taking itself seriously. Now let's talk performances. I thought they were more than serviceable. Johnson has some comedic chops, and he was easily able to carry this film on his shoulders with his charm and charisma. He felt like the old character played by Hasselhoff and really sold himself as that father figure to the other lifeguards and somewhat like a father of the beach, which was a repeated tone that the TV show conveyed as well. I thought Zac Efron was also pretty funny. He delivers the role well, but it wasn't much different than any of the characters he's been playing the last handful of years. But I did think he and Johnson did have some fun chemistry together, and with some just above average, rom-com dialogue, they create some amusing moments to pass the time, in my opinion. The rest of the characters are just kind of there. They do have some funny lines mixed in once in a while. John Bass does have some comical scenes, but he also has a lot of forced moments as well. But there are just loads of forced scenes and scenarios in this movie, and each of the characters has more than a few, but to counter that, there are a lot of moments that do work, and in my opinion, they did kind of overshadow the scenes and segments that fell flat, because in the end, nearly all of these rom-coms have some moments that just simply don't land. The story is pretty much what you would expect, a means to an end. It's loaded with cliches, and never once does it try to deliver any unpredictability, but I still thought it was enough to carry the time along as the jokes and action sequences come and go. But on the downside, this was a long movie at just under 2 hours. This one had no reason being longer than 90 minutes because it does get a little tiring as it closes out. Overall, though, it was relatively well paced, and it does entertain if you're in the mood for some dumb fun, because that's exactly what this is. This one clearly went the 21 Jump Street route, and I did enjoy it for some turn your brain off fun. I would have liked a slightly more serious tone and a deeper story, something along the lines of Bad Boys, but with this formula, it worked enough for some fun. But I did think Baywatch had some laughable scenes, and I would say if 21 Jump Street did the TV to film adaptation thing right, and Chips was on the other end of the spectrum with how to do it 100% wrong, then this film was definitely on the positive side, and I'm going to give it a C+. I had a good time with this movie. I had zero expectations going in, and it still managed to surprise me. It knew its source material very well, worked the nostalgia in very effectively, and it felt like watching a full season of the show in 2 hours. I had a surprising amount of fun watching this movie. It may not be something to rush out to the theater and see, but it's definitely worth a one-time watch when it hits digital or on demand. And that's my review of Baywatch, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to drop this video a like if you did. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss anything new. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, I'm Anthony. This is the SilverScreen Analysis, and I'll see you at the movies.